Hi everyone, welcome to the 6th Facebook Community Summit. For those of you I haven't gotten a chance to meet yet, I'm Tom and I lead Facebook here at Meta. I've been at Facebook for the last 12 years and in the last few years was leading the work to put communities at the center of Facebook. Now, I'm really happy to be here today because the Facebook Community Summit is one of my favorite things we do. The kind of dedication this group represents really is the best of Facebook. It's what we mean when we talk about connection. It's why we build the things we build, and we couldn't do it without you. So thank you for being here, for showing up for your groups as leaders and admins, and for helping make our products better. And also, thank you for showing everyone that our mission to give people the power to build community and bring the world closer together isn't just empty words. It's a practice that each and every one of you brings to life every day. Now, before we jump into today's announcements, I want to take a moment to talk about where Facebook is headed. Founded in 2004, Facebook turned 18 this year. The app that started in college is now old enough to go to college, and groups were a part of Facebook from its earliest days. A lot of them were a bit out there or abstract, like a group where we all pretend to be ants in an ant colony. People having fun with the possibilities of what a group could be. Now, over the years, we've made a number of improvements to the app, specifically groups, including better ways to find and join groups, better ways to serve as an admin or a moderator, better content moderation tools, and so on. Going forward, we're going to keep our focus on helping people connect to the things they care about, giving people the ability to express themselves in a variety of ways, create opportunities to deepen relationships through shared interests, and more. One thing that is changing is how people are using social media to connect and share with each other. And we want to make sure that we evolve to meet those needs. So we've heard from you over the years that we needed to do more to improve the discovery process for groups. It's not enough for all these amazing groups to exist if people don't know they're there or what they're missing. That's why we're investing in AI to help bring people content that they might be interested in or take some value from, but might not otherwise have come across. This isn't exactly new for Facebook. We've been doing some of this for a long time across the app and within groups specifically, from group recommendations to showing you content from public groups that you might be interested in. We've always believed that there's a role that we can play in helping people to discover new things that will bring them value. I see our investments in AI as a continued evolution of what we have always been trying to do in the midst of a new technical wave of innovation, which is to ask the question, how do we build around people? This is especially going to be important as formats and mediums evolve, from the present time as 2D screens to 3D immersive experiences, both as augmented reality and virtual reality, an experience called the metaverse. Now, we're not there yet, but we're getting there. Technology is evolving at a rapid pace, and more specifically, we're evolving it, investing in products and research that are going to help make the metaverse a reality. And like the internet, the metaverse is not something that we're going to build alone or that will be owned and operated by any one company. But also like the internet, it will do one thing spectacularly well, and that is bring people together to interact and learn from each other and bridge the barrier of distance that separates us. And Facebook is a key part to unlocking the future. The work of this community will be central to figuring out how we do that in a meaningful way in the years ahead. At Facebook, we're honored by the time you put in for the sake of your communities. And I'm excited for where we're going next with everyone's help here. And now I'd like to pass it to my good friend and colleague, Maria Smith, our VP of Communities, to share all of today's exciting updates.
Thanks, Tom, and hello, everyone. I'm Maria, and I lead community products here at Facebook. Building community has been core to Facebook's mission in bringing the world closer together. And while community has made its way into every corner of Facebook's experience, groups continue to be the central place people go to do more together. In fact, most of our users globally are members of at least 15 active groups on Facebook. As you heard earlier, we continue to evolve the Facebook ecosystem, and communities are a really key part of that vision, so that people are able to discover more and continue to come together around shared purpose. Facebook groups, as we know them today, launched in 2010, and our hope was to create an easy way for friends and family to connect and have fun. Over time, we have seen people using groups to share everything from love of K-pop to corgis to connecting with others in their local neighborhoods to supporting causes they're really passionate about. Groups are a place for college students to share advice, or gardeners to learn more about plants, or new parents to share their tips with each other. In groups, you can be entertained, get advice, find support, and do more together than you could ever do alone. Groups span an incredible range of topics and interests, and for some communities, they're really centered around creating change. And so I do want to take a moment to highlight our Community Accelerator program. It's a global program that's focused on helping top community builders advance their leadership skills and strengthen their communities to work better together. Participants receive training and funding to invest in an initiative that helps drive success to their community. Today, at our 6th Facebook Community Summit, we're unveiling this year's participants. You can find out more about them and all the incredible work they're doing by visiting facebook.com/community/accelerator. And now I'm excited to share changes that will continue to evolve the way people build community on Facebook for today and the future. First, to help people curate the community experience they want, we're going to enable both group admins and members to tell their stories in richer ways through the formats that work best for their groups and the interests that they share. That's why we introduced Reels in Groups, to empower communities to share information, tell stories, and connect on a deeper level with creative videos. A format like Reels is a powerful way to connect, which is why we want to make them available in groups. You can imagine a makeup-obsessed group sharing the latest beauty trends with fellow members, or a pickleball group going over the rules for newbies. Even weird, silly groups, like the ones where everyone pretends it's a different decade, will have a whole new canvas to paint on. There's so many fun ways to bring your story to life with creative multimedia features like audio, text overlay, and filters on top of your videos. We're also starting to test something within community chats that gives community builders the ability to create view-only chats. This lets them send one-way communications to all of their group members without having to actively maintain or respond to messages in the chat. For members, we think this will be helpful for receiving timely announcements so they can stay up to date on important group information. And lastly, we're also testing updates to your group profile to make it easier to build relationships in your communities and connect with other members. With these new updates, you'll be able to customize the information in your About Me section to highlight details about you that you want to share with your community so that you can learn more about one another. In addition, you'll be able to add an indicator to your profile if you open to messaging, so that like-minded members know you would like to connect further. Earlier this year, we announced that admins can begin to create channels as a way to connect with their groups in smaller, more casual settings. We're continuing to roll out these experiences so admins can foster deeper discussions on common interests or organize their communities around topics in different formats. One of my favorite examples in this in action is a group called Women Who Surf. They've been using community chats to coordinate surf sessions and the audio channels feature to share where the best waves are in real time. Soon, you'll be able to add an event chat to events created in groups, allowing your members to discuss events before, during, and after they take place. So what does that mean for you? Well, for example, if you're planning a school bake sale, you can work out who's bringing what. Same idea for a block party or a gathering of that group of corgi owners. It's all possible. Next, as we know very well, admins have always been at the heart of their groups. They're building and shaping the norms in their communities. They keep things going and keep the tone civil. We want to help enable admins to effectively drive forward their group's culture in engaging, useful, and responsible ways. So I'm excited to share some new features in this space. The first is something we're testing called community contributions that lets admins highlight members who contribute the most to the community. For example, by taking an active role in the community or sharing content that other members love and reward with reactions, comments, they then earn points which can help them earn badges to feature on their group profiles. You can imagine gaming communities using community contributions to recognize members who share helpful tips about new games and characters. As part of community contributions, we're also testing a new socializer role for admins to recognize members who help others feel welcome, connected, and motivated to contribute to the community. So for instance, socializers in music festival communities can get recognition as dedicated members who actively share photos and videos of their festival experiences and who motivate others to do the same. Now we know how useful Admin Assist is in helping admins to efficiently moderate the groups by taking action automatically, based on specific criteria they set up. Today, we're sharing a couple of new updates. The first is new treatments for false info, where admins can automatically move posts containing information rated as false by third-party fact-checkers to the pending post section so that admins can review the posts before deleting them. This includes posts that are already identified as containing false information, as well as any posts where content is later designated as false. We think over time, this will help make content in a group more reliable for the broader community. And we're also adding a daily digest so that admins can easily review how Admin Assist helps them manage their community. This will have a new daily summary of actions taken in a community based on the criteria they've set. Next, we are continuing to test an extension within Flagged by Facebook that gives some admins of eligible groups the ability to allow some content that might have been otherwise flagged for removal for bullying and harassment. One example from our testing of how this can be useful for communities is that an admin of a group of fish tank enthusiasts was able to keep up a flagged comment that called a fish fatty, which of course was not intended to be offensive. Of course, we still require groups to follow our policies and will remove violating content that's reported to us. That was a lot to get through. I hope you're all as excited as we are about these new changes. Our vision is for Facebook to be the best place to build communities so that all the incredible community builders who bring people together each day can continue to do the amazing work they're doing all around the world. Because they spend time day in and day out doing this, they truly are the experts when it comes to creating thriving communities. And so we wanted you to hear firsthand from some of these community builders about their journeys, from just starting out their group to growing it, to finding ways to keep their members engaged. And on that note, I'd like to now introduce two fabulous group admins running two very different but very impactful communities. Joining me today is Kat Lu, founder of Subtle Asian Baking, and Alex Garcia, founder of more than 25 groups, including LGBTQ gamers.
Thank you so much, Maria. Really excited to be here and excited to just share my experience of building communities on Facebook.
Same, Maria. I'm really excited to speak to you today and happy to be here.
Alex, your community, LGBTQ gamers, really stood out to me because I've come across quite a few gaming groups, but none quite like yours. Tell us a little bit about your group and what prompted you to launch it.
Yeah, so about 12 years ago, there weren't a lot of LGBTQ safe spaces online. If you think about it, 12 years ago, there wasn't even marriage equality. And so my best friend and I really wanted to create a community where we could find other like-minded friends who might be LGBTQ nerds into comic books, movies, and video games. So the first group we started was Gay Geeks, and that became very popular, but quickly the gamers really wanted their own group, so we kind of spun off LGBTQ Gamers, and it's just a really fun, safe space where we get together, we play together, we create guilds, and we find clans, so when we're gonna go do missions and in game, we can find like-minded individuals. And so it was just like a natural evolution from the general Gay Geeks group to a more specific gamer group.
And Kat, I love looking through the reels and photos in your group, Subtle Asian Baking. Every single baked good looks just like a piece of art. What inspired you to launch your group?
Maybe I was just destined to do it. It was early COVID time, peak COVID. I just came back from my trip to Tokyo with my family. I was missing mooncakes and milk bread and mochi. So now I had my big kitchen. I had time. We were, stuck at home. Asian bakeries were all shuttered. I thought, I want to learn to make egg tarts and milk breads and mooncakes and bake this Asian way. I couldn't find a community online or a space that had all the recipes that I was looking for. So when you identify a need, you think, okay, let me just make that. And where else to make this group but in Facebook? Facebook was amazing. And I was always on there doing my personal things, connecting with my friends. And I was feeling, I needed to connect with people. And Facebook groups was just so easy. Just a few clicks of a button, type something in, and then the group was formed. It was just something that just happened and blew up organically.
As the head of community products, one thing I talk a lot about with my team is how we can support group admins in fostering their own community cultures, because we know that admins really set the tone. Alex, in a few sentences, tell us what your group LGBTQ Gamers is all about.
Yeah, we're all about hardcore inclusivity. We really want to be a space where all identifying members of the LGBTQ plus community feel safe to just be gamers and have fun. So we try to have a diverse group of admins as well. And then we just encourage all of us to play, whether you're streaming on whatever platform, whether you're just playing, with other members. We're all about having fun in a safe space.
That's awesome. Kat, what about you, the Subtle Asian baking culture?
So we are all about being inclusive and diverse and very welcoming. That's part of our culture. You don't have to be Asian to bake the Asian way or join our Subtle Asian Baking group. Secondly, I want to say that we are a family. So it's not just a community. I feel that my group is my baby and my family. So every time I post on Subtle Asian Baking, I say, Sob Fam. So the Sob Fam is real. It's a real family. And lastly, we have a purpose, a mission, and a vision. Our core purpose is to continue to help AAPI communities throughout the U.S., to help stop Asian hate, and also to fundraise throughout the year for causes that we are in tune with and that builds us with purpose and goodness.
Kat, especially since your community is growing so quickly, how do you shape the culture in Subtle Asian Baking?
Maria, I really firmly believe that if the group and the members love Subtle Asian Baking, then they will believe in the culture, and that I could foster the culture in the community. They also have to be engaged. So luckily, there are a lot of great tools within Facebook groups that I can use to engage our members and keep their attention, right? So there's content with our reels. I do a lot of fun baking reels or giveaway reels to engage them. We also do like a lot of events. So I utilize the events pages. It's also very important to give gratitude to our members so that they feel that we are thankful for them being in our group, right? We are thankful for their membership. Also, we have group expert badges that I give out to members who have consistently posted high quality content in our group to give them kudos. And I really want to share a story about one of our members. Her name is Bailey. And this summer, she won our fruit tart bake-off. She won a trophy and an apron from us. And also, she recently applied to the Culinary Institute of America, where she wrote all about being a member of Subtle Asian Baking and winning our bake-off. And she was so proud of it. And of course, she got into the school, and she's going to proudly wear our apron during her classes and show it off and tell all her friends about our group. And I pinned her story to our announcements page in the group. Made my heart flutter, made all of our group members just so happy and proud to be a part of our community and our Sob fam.
That sounds amazing. Actually, I can't wait to check out some of the events that you mentioned in your group. And Alex, what sort of features and content do you use to maintain the inclusive and on-topic culture that you described of your community, the LGBTQ gamers?
Yeah, we use a lot of the different tools, but three of them that I think pop up quite often is, first of all, the moderating tools, because if we promise people a safe environment, the moderating tools really help us identify, if there's a bad act or a bad conversation, somewhere we might need to help, facilitate the conversation. Two, we're all about gaming. So we have a lot of members who love to stream. Our moderators love to stream. Everyone gets together and helps support other gamers when they're playing. And we try to feature members. And then three, one of my favorites is I really love our analytics tools, because I really like to dive into what are the things that are really motivating our audiences? What are they talking about? And then we try to look at that data and then create more content that we know our audience is going to love.
So while I have both of you here for our Facebook Community Summit, I have to ask you both the top question that we hear from group admins. How do you encourage engagement from your group members? Kat, let's start with you.
I've been using Reels a lot. I've been using them to make recipes, to show off events that had happened. Like we had a book signing in New York City. I also engage our members so that they are a part of the group, that they have a voice, right? So then there's a lot of open communication. I use polling a lot because I want to hear from my members. I want to hear their feedback and their opinions. I have admin assist on, and I also encourage our members to follow the rules and then report anything that they see that's bad. And one of the most important points in having a very engaging community, I want to say that you do have to have a strong leader at the helm of a group. The leader has to be able to drive the conversation and also, bring a lot to the table. Like I mentioned, bringing good content, quality content, being able to moderate and lead the team.
Thank you, Kat. Very useful tips. Thank you for sharing. How about you, Alex?
For us, my biggest tips for other admins to have an engaging community really comes down to knowing your audience, right? You just have to know your audience. What are the things that the group is all about? Have a strong framework around what content is allowed and not allowed. Having moderators that know that in and out help us facilitate, making sure we're having positive conversations. And then I go back to what I said a few minutes earlier. I really love diving into analytics, like figuring out what is the top post and why is this post very popular. And then depending on your group, for us, gaming, it can be it's very in the now. So sometimes, we want to make sure we have content around the latest drops, the latest news on a new game. And then I always try to save one or two pieces of content that I know is going to do really well for those weeks or those lulls. Maybe it's back to school week and there's just less activity, and I drop those pieces of content that I know everyone's going to react to very favorably. They're going to post, they're going to comment, they're going to be highly engaged. So I always try to have, all of that in mind as I'm managing the communities.
Awesome. Know your audience and stay relevant. I love that. Okay, so last question for each of you. What has been your favorite moment of connection that's happened in your group? Let's start with Alex.
Yeah, that's easy. I've run these groups now for about 12 years, and I have seen people literally meet their life partner in the communities. And now they've been married 8 years, they have kids, and I've seen how much of an impact it had, specifically when you think about the fact that, 11 years ago, it was really hard to find other people that were similar. And so seeing those relationships happen because of the community is probably my favorite absolute thing about the group.
Kat, what is your favorite moment of connection in your group?
The most recent defining connection moment right now for Subtle Asian Baking, of course, is the publication of our book, Modern Asian Baking at Home. It is a book that was inspired by recipes from our community. It was a book that was also crowdsourced, and it's a crowning, shining moment for us, right? So I had 68 recipes in the book. I was able to poll my members in Subtle Asian Baking and ask them, what recipes do you want to see in this book? And after I wrote the book and all the recipes, I was able to ask our members in the Facebook group to become a recipe tester. I had 700 plus people apply within 2 hours. And now I had 23 members from Subtle Asian Baking testing recipes in the book from around the world. Once the book was published, members were able to show off in reels, in posts, the books that they found in the shelves across the world. It's just so amazing to have something come out of, let's say, my baby, Subtle Asian Baking. This all happened because of Facebook, so thank you.
No, thank you, Kat. And I actually do have your book, and I highly recommend it. Alex and Kat, thank you so much for joining us today. What an honor to speak with you both and hear firsthand about your communities. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Facebook.
What a great way to close out another Facebook Community Summit. It was an honor to share with you all the many ways that we are continuing to build for and invest in community on Facebook. We announced so much today: ways for people to engage more deeply in their communities, features for group admins to drive their community's cultures forward, and tools that help people use groups to come together from broader communities. Building community is core to Facebook's mission, and we know that incredible things happen when people come together around the things that they really care about. And so I'd like to say thank you to everyone tuning in today, and everyone who connects people and brings others together every day. You are really at the heart of what community is. Thank you.
There are exciting new updates coming to Facebook groups. Let's dive in. With Reels and Groups, you can tell stories and connect on a deeper level through immersive videos with text overlays, audio, and filters. Keep your group in the know using view-only chats for one-way announcements, or event chats to let your group share their excitement after they RSVP. Want to show your top contributors some love? Community Contributions helps admins reward engaged members with top contributor badges. Custom roles like Socializer are also coming, so you can recognize members who make others feel welcome and connected. These and more new groups features will help you engage more deeply around the things you care about and strengthen your community.